Man saved a dying dog, but later his true identity shocked all the people. A happy couple lived on the edge of the village of Sichuan, which was abounding with mountains and surrounded by grass and lots of trees. They were very happy with the few things they had. At the time, the husband usually went up the mountain to pick up firewood and grow vegetables in the small courtyard, and the wife took care of the house and their animals. Their modest lifestyle was very satisfying for both of them. One day, while the man was sitting at the door, his wife was coming back home carrying a hunk of meat. The husband got excited as a child when he saw her because they hadn't eaten meat for a long time. She told him that she's going to prepare a scrumptious meal this evening. "What a pleasure," he replied in joy. Afterwards, she brought the rest of the meat and hung it on a rope in the courtyard so it wouldn't rot. Surprisingly, the meat was gone the next day from the rope, but some pieces were found in the mouth of a skinny dog who was laying in the backyard. The poor animal had fainted from hunger. They took him immediately inside because it seemed that it was dying. The wife smeared the dog's body with some herbs after giving it a hot bath. After a while, the dog opened its eyes. It saw the dirty water in the basin and wanted to climb over to drink it, but it had no strength. The man noticed that, so he brought some water and dry food to feed him, but it stopped eating after 2 bites. The man knew the dog was a picky eater, so he didn't insist more. Later, under the care of the couple, the dog was able to stand and walk gradually, and the fur on its body also grew out a little bit. As the dog recovered better, the color of its coat made the man nervous. He called a hunter who had been friends with him and asked him to help him find out what species the dog was. The hunter had a strong smell of blood on his body. As soon as he entered the yard, the dog assumed a fighting stance and watched him closely. The experienced hunter told the man that he was going out first and asked him to leash the dog. He knew that the dog had been with this man for a long time, so they had a deep bond. Right after the hunter went out, the dog immediately dropped its guard and its owner tied it up, then called the hunter back. The puppy became vicious again because it found the smell of blood on this hunter threatening. The hunter suddenly took a piece of meat and threw it to the dog. Then he turned to the man and said it was a wolf. The man was shocked when he heard him, although he had doubts before. What is he supposed to do now? Then the news of the man raising wolves came out, and many people from the village came to see the wolf. Some of them tried to persuade the man to set it free. However, the man's attitude was very clear that he's going to keep the wolf after several trials of setting the wolf free. Each time of them, it turns back. One evening, the man was sitting at the door smoking a cigarette. While his wife was cooking, a loud noise came from the kitchen, and the wolf immediately ran over and pulled his pants towards the kitchen. The man was wondering what was going on and instantly hurried over, but his wife was already laying unconscious on the ground. She had a heart attack and died right away. The poor man held a funeral for his wife and drank daily to relieve his grief. At that time, the wolf sensed his sadness and obediently laid beside him and didn't leave him during the rough period. After this incident, rumors arose in the village about the calamity of the wolf. Then, gradually, people moved away from the man's house, and the children who used to come around were put under guard. Only the hunter kept visiting him. He always brings a jug of wine with him and comforts his loneliness. Meanwhile, the wolf completely let down his guard against the hunter when he came around. After more than half a year this way, the man suppressed his grief as his friendship with the hunter got tightened. Once, while the man was cleaning up his table after a long discussion with the hunter who had just left the house, he has surprisingly seen a snake wrapped around the branch beside the eaves. He picked up a long wooden stick and tried to distance it away, but he failed. The snake turned back to attack him while he was still poking it, and it succeeded, biting the man's hand. At this moment, the wolf reached the setting and wrestled with the snake. The wolf started howling, and the hunter that had not gone far heard it, so he hurried back. He found the man sitting on the ground groaning from pain while the wolf was fighting the snake. Luckily, the snake wasn't venomous, so the hunter ran to his house and brought some additional herbs and applied their mixture on his wounds. As soon as he finished, he went to check the wolf, but he found it dead, casted down on the floor with several bites and the snake beside it ripped apart. The next day, the man recovered a bit and started looking for his wolf. However, the hunter couldn't hide the fact that they had lost it. They stepped out of the house, and the hunter walked towards the wolf's body and held it in his hands. The man was deeply saddened because of his loss, remembering the last moments when he saw it fighting for his life against the viper. The man buried his wolf on the hill behind his house, where he and his wife found it the first day, and said goodbye to it forever. This is today's story. Click to subscribe for more interesting videos.